Captain Lee Hanul stood on the bridge of the UES Perseverance, watching the stars through the main window. He had been dreaming of this moment for 5 years. Today, his ship would finally leave the solar system. Today, humanity would take its first real step into the galaxy. The year was 2387, and humans had been part of the Galactic Confederation for 50 years. But they had never been allowed to leave their home system. The aliens said it was for protection. They called it a quarantine. Most humans knew the truth. The aliens thought they were too dangerous and too stupid to be trusted in space. "Captain," called Dr. Park Soman from her station. She was the ship's expert on alien life and languages. "We are getting a strange signal on all frequencies." Lee Hanul walked over to her station. "What kind of signal?" Park Soman's face was pale. "It's a distress call, sir, from the Galactic Confederation. They are asking for help from any advanced civilization." Engineer Ko Jinwoo looked up from his control panel. "Any advanced civilization? What about us?" "They specifically said we are not advanced enough," Park Soman said quietly. "The message says that primitive species should stay in their home systems, for their own safety." Lee Hanul felt anger rise in his chest. For 50 years, the aliens had kept humanity locked in the solar system like children. They gave humans basic technology and trade goods, but never treated them as equals. The Confederation had 12 major species, and humans were always considered the weakest and least important. "What kind of help are they asking for?" Lee Hanul asked. Park Soman played the message again. The voice was from Admiral Thex of the Rigel Defense Force, one of the most powerful alien commanders. His voice sounded scared. "This is an emergency broadcast to all advanced civilizations. The Void Devourers have returned. They emerged from dark space 6 months ago and are destroying entire star systems. We have lost contact with 47 worlds. Our combined fleets cannot stop them. We need any technology or weapons that can help us fight this threat. All primitive species must remain in their home systems for their own protection. This message will repeat every hour." The bridge went silent. Ko Jinwoo whispered, "Void Devourers. I thought they were just stories." "They are real," Park Soman said. "According to the alien databases, they nearly destroyed the galaxy 10,000 years ago. They consume entire planets and turn everything into energy for themselves." Lee Hanul stared at the star map showing the galaxy. Red dots marked the systems that had gone dark. The pattern was moving toward the center of the galaxy, where most of the major alien worlds were located. "Sir," said Ko Jinwoo, "our experimental drives are ready for testing. We could reach the Confederation Council station in 2 days." "The aliens told us to stay here," Park Soman said. "If we leave the solar system without permission, they might attack us." Lee Hanul thought about his orders from Earth Command. Admiral Choi Minho had been very clear: do not leave the solar system without Confederation approval. But Lee Hanul also remembered why he became a space captain. He wanted to prove that humans belonged among the stars. "Dr. Park," he said, "can you send a message to the Confederation Council?" "Yes, sir." "What should I say?" Lee Hanul took a deep breath. "Tell them that the UES Perseverance is responding to their distress call. Tell them we have experimental technology that might help." Park Soman's eyes went wide. "Sir, they will not want our help. They think we are too primitive." "Maybe," Lee Hanul said, "but they are dying out there, and we are the only ones who answered their call." Ko Jinwoo grinned. "I always wanted to see what our chaos drives could do in real space." The chaos drives were humanity's secret weapon. While aliens used clean, logical quantum technology, human engineers had built something different. The chaos drives used controlled randomness and probability. They worked, but even the engineers were not sure exactly how. "Send the message," Lee Hanul ordered. Park Soman typed quickly. "Message sent, sir, but I am also detecting something else. There are alien patrol ships at the edge of our solar system. They have been watching us." Can we get past them? Ko Jinwoo checked his instruments. The Chaos drives should be able to jump us past their sensors. They will not know we left until we are already gone. Lee Hanul made his decision. All hands, prepare for departure. We are leaving the solar system. The ship's computer announced the departure to all crew members. Lee Hanul opened a channel to Earth Command. Admiral Choi Minho appeared on the screen. He looked tired and worried. Captain Lee, I hope you are not planning to do something stupid. Sir, the galaxy is under attack. We can help. The Confederation made it clear that we should stay home. We cannot risk starting a war with our only allies. Lee Hanul stood straight. With respect, sir, they are not our allies. They are our jailers. And if the Void Devourers destroy the galaxy, we will be next. Admiral Choi was quiet for a long moment. If you do this, you will be on your own. I cannot send help. I understand, sir. Then may God help you, Captain, and may God help us all. The communication ended. Lee Hanul turned to his crew. Ko Jinwoo, prepare the Chaos drives. Park Somin, plot a course to the Confederation Council Station. Drives ready, sir, Ko Jinwoo reported. All systems show green, even though half of them should not work according to alien science. That is why they will work, Lee Hanul said. Execute the jump. The Perseverance disappeared from the solar system in a flash of strange light. The alien patrol ships did not even detect the departure. Their sensors were designed to track logical quantum signatures, not the controlled chaos of human technology. 2 days later, the Perseverance arrived at the Confederation Council Station. The massive space station was surrounded by alien warships from a dozen species. But many of the ships showed battle damage, and some were barely holding together. This is Captain Lee Hanul of the UES Perseverance, he broadcast on all frequencies. We received your distress call and came to offer assistance. The response was immediate and angry. Human vessel, you are in violation of quarantine protocols. Return to your home system immediately. We came to help, Lee Hanul replied. You asked for advanced technology. We have it. There was a long pause. Then a new voice came on the radio. It was Admiral Thex himself. How did you get past our patrol ships? Our sensors show no sign of quantum drive signatures. We use different technology, Lee Hanul said simply. Another pause. Dock at Bay 7, but be warned. If this is some kind of trick, we will destroy your ship. As the Perseverance approached the docking bay, Park Somin was monitoring alien communications. Sir, she said quietly, they are very scared. Half their fleets have been destroyed. They are running out of options. Lee Hanul nodded. Good, scared. People are more willing to try new ideas. The ship docked with a soft thud. Through the airlock, Lee Hanul could see alien security forces waiting. But he also saw something else. Hope in their eyes. For the first time in the galaxy's history, someone had answered their call for help. No one had expected the humans to answer. What came next would change everything. The council chamber was the largest room Lee Hanul had ever seen. Representatives from 12 alien species sat around a massive circular table. Each species looked different. Some had scales, others had fur, and a few looked like walking crystals. But they all had one thing in common. They looked terrified. Ambassador Yoon Daeho walked beside Lee Hanul as they entered the chamber. Yoon had arrived on a fast courier ship just hours after the Perseverance docked. He was Earth's best diplomat, but even he looked nervous. Remember, Yoon whispered, they think we are primitive children. We need to prove we can help without making them angry. At the head of the table sat Chancellor Vex of the Altair Republic. She was tall and blue, with 4 arms and large black eyes. When she spoke, her voice echoed through translation devices. Human representatives, she said coldly. You were not invited to this council. Your species lacks the technology and experience to help in this crisis. Lee Hanul stepped forward. With respect, Chancellor, we answered your distress call. You asked for help from any advanced civilization. We meant truly advanced civilizations, said General Kor of the Centauri Empire. He was covered in thick scales and had sharp teeth. Your species has barely learned to leave your own star system. Dr. Park Somin activated her portable computer. Chancellor, may I show you something? Without waiting for permission, she projected a holographic display above the table. It showed the pattern of void devourer attacks across the galaxy. We studied your data, Park Somin said. The void devourers are not just destroying worlds. They are eating the consciousness of every living being on those worlds. The alien representatives looked shocked. General Kor leaned forward. What do you mean? Each time they destroy a civilization, they become smarter, Park Somin explained. They learn from every mind they consume. That is why they are getting harder to fight. Chancellor Vex's forearms moved in what humans had learned was a sign of worry. Our scientists did not detect this pattern. Because you are looking at it like a military problem, said Lieutenant Commander Kim Nara, stepping forward. She was the Perseverance's tactical officer. You see ships and weapons, we see something else. And what do you see? Asked Admiral Thex. His people looked like large insects, but they were known as great warriors. Kim Nara smiled. We see a puzzle. The Void Devourers adapt to everything you do because your tactics are logical and predictable. You follow the same battle plans that worked for thousands of years. Engineer Ko Jinwoo activated his own display. May I show you our ship's design? The hologram showed the internal structure of the Perseverance. The alien representatives stared in confusion. The ship looked nothing like their clean, organized vessels. Instead, it seemed chaotic and random. This makes no sense, said Science Minister Zeph of the Crystal Collective. Her body was made of living diamond. Your power flows are completely random. Your navigation system has 17 backup systems that contradict each other. How does this ship even function? Ko Jinwoo grinned. We are not sure. The aliens looked at each other in confusion. Chief Scientist Lim Woo-jin stepped forward to explain. Our technology works on controlled chaos, he said. We build systems that work, but not in ways that make logical sense. Every part of our ship operates on probability rather than certainty. That is impossible, Chancellor Vex said. Technology must follow logical principles. Why? Asked Lee Hanul. Your logical technology is being destroyed by the Void Devourers. Maybe it is time to try something illogical. Before anyone could answer, alarms began ringing throughout the station. A communication officer ran into the chamber. Chancellor, he gasped. Long-range sensors detect a Void Devourer fleet. They will arrive in 6 hours. The chamber erupted in panic. Several representatives started shouting orders. Others began planning evacuation routes. How many ships? Admiral Thex demanded. 57 large vessels and over 200 smaller ones, the officer reported. They are moving faster than any of our previous encounters. Chancellor Vex turned to her military advisors. How many ships do we have for defense? 43 operational vessels, Admiral Thex said grimly. And most of them are damaged from previous battles. The mood in the room became hopeless. General Kor slammed his fist on the table. We cannot win this fight. We should evacuate immediately. Where will you go? Lee Hanul asked quietly. They are attacking the entire galaxy. Eventually, there will be nowhere left to run. Ambassador Yoon Dae-ho saw his opportunity. We propose a different approach. You have one ship, Chancellor Vex said angrily. What can you possibly do against 57 Void Devourer vessels? Let us show you, Lee Hanul said. Give us permission to engage the enemy when they arrive. Absolutely not, General Kor growled. Your primitive weapons will be useless. You will only get in our way. Kim Nara stepped forward again. General, what is your standard battle plan? We form defensive lines and use coordinated fire patterns to maximize damage while minimizing losses. And how has that worked so far? General Kor's scales darkened with anger, but he did not answer. The Void Devourers have fought your coordinated attacks before, Kim Nara continued. They know exactly what you will do. They have consumed the minds of thousands of your best military commanders. Then what do you suggest? Admiral Thex asked. We suggest chaos, Ko Jinwoo said. Complete, total, beautiful chaos. Chancellor Vex leaned back in her chair. Explain. Lim Woo-jin activated another display. Our ship can move in patterns that have no pattern. We can attack targets that make no strategic sense. We can retreat when we should advance, and advance when we should retreat. That sounds like a good way to get killed, Science Minister Zeph observed. Maybe, Lee Hanul admitted, but your logical tactics are definitely getting you killed. At least our way. The enemy will not know what to expect. The chamber fell silent. The alien representatives were used to careful planning and logical decisions. The human approach seemed insane. Finally, Chancellor Vex spoke. You may attempt your chaotic tactics, but you will coordinate with our fleet command. No, Ambassador Yoon Daeho said firmly. Coordination defeats the purpose. We need complete freedom to act randomly. That is unacceptable, Admiral Thex said. You could accidentally attack our own ships. We will not attack your ships, Lee Hanul promised. But we cannot tell you what we will do, because we do not know ourselves. Dr. Park Somin pulled up another display. We did analyze your previous battle records. The Void Devourers always adapt within the first hour of combat, but they need to see a pattern to adapt to it. What if there is no pattern? Kim Nara asked. The question hung in the air. For thousands of years, galactic warfare had been about superior tactics, better technology, and logical thinking. The humans were suggesting something completely different. Another alarm sounded. The communication officer returned, looking even more frightened. Chancellor, the Void Devourer fleet has accelerated. They will arrive in 4 hours. Chancellor. Vex looked around the table at her fellow representatives. They had tried everything they knew. Their logical approaches had failed again and again. Very well, she said finally. Human Captain, you have permission to engage the enemy using your chaotic methods. But if you fail, you will take responsibility for the consequences. Lee Hanul nodded. Understood, Chancellor. As the humans left the council chamber, Ko Jinwoo whispered to his captain. Sir, do you really think our chaos drives can work against an entire fleet? Lee Hanul smiled grimly. I have no idea, but that is exactly why it might work. 4 hours later, as the Void Devourer fleet approached the council station, the aliens prepared for another logical, coordinated defense. But this time they would have unexpected allies. The humans were about to show the galaxy that sometimes the best solution was no solution at all. The Void Devourer fleet emerged from dark space like a nightmare made real. Each ship was black as the empty void between stars, and they moved with perfect coordination. At the center of the formation was a massive vessel the size of a small moon. Energy crackled between the ships as they prepared to consume another civilization. On the bridge of the Perseverance, Lee Hanul watched the enemy approach. His crew was ready, but they looked nervous. They were about to face an enemy that had destroyed countless worlds. 57 ships, reported Kim Nara from the tactical station. The large one in the center is generating massive energy readings. It must be their command vessel. Dr. Park So-min was monitoring alien communications. Sir, the Confederation fleet is forming their standard defensive line. Admiral Thex is requesting our position in the formation. Tell him we will engage independently, Lee Hanul said. Ko Jinwoo, are the chaos drives ready? All systems are as ready as they can be, sir, Ko Jinwoo replied. Though I should mention that our probability generators are showing readings I have never seen before. Good or bad? I honestly do not know. Through the main window, they could see the alien fleet taking positions. 43 ships arranged in perfect geometric patterns, each one exactly where military theory said it should be. It looked impressive and organized. The Void Devourers attacked without warning. Black energy beams lanced out from their ships, striking the alien defensive line. The beams did not just damage the ships. They seemed to drain the life from them. Lights went out and several vessels went dead in space. They are not just destroying the ships, Park Soman observed. They are consuming the consciousness of the crews. Admiral Thex's voice came over the radio. All ships, focus fire on the smaller vessels. Use Pattern 7 attack formation. The alien fleet responded with perfect coordination. Energy weapons fired in carefully planned sequences, designed to maximize damage while protecting friendly ships. It was exactly what military academies throughout the galaxy taught as proper tactics. The Void Devourers adapted within minutes. Their ships began moving in patterns that countered every alien attack. They had fought the Confederation before and learned from every battle. Soon, the alien fleet was taking heavy losses. "Sir," Kim Nara said urgently, "we need to do something. They are losing." Lee Hanul stood up. "All hands, prepare for Chaos Protocol. Ko Jinwoo, give me completely random navigation." "Sir, I want you to throw dice, flip coins, whatever you need to do. Make our movement completely unpredictable. Ko." Jinwoo grinned and pulled out a set of 20-sided dice from his pocket. "I have been waiting my whole career to use these in a real battle." The Perseverance suddenly shot away from the main battle, heading toward what appeared to be empty space. The movement made no tactical sense. Several alien commanders called on the radio asking what the humans were doing. "This is insane," muttered Kim Nara, but she was smiling. "We are attacking nothing. Wait for it," Lee Hanul said. 3 Void. Devourer ships broke formation to investigate the strange human behavior. They had never encountered anything like this before. In their vast experience, every species fought with logic and pattern. When the Void Devourers got close, Ko Jinwoo rolled his dice again. The Perseverance suddenly spun around and fired all weapons at the nearest enemy ship. But instead of firing at logical target points like engines or weapons, they fired at random locations. The first Void Devourer ship tried to adapt to the human weapons, but there was no pattern to adapt to. The random shot somehow managed to hit a critical system and the ship exploded in a burst of dark energy. "How did that work?" Kim Nara asked in amazement. "Pure luck," Lee Hanul admitted. "Roll the dice again, Ko." The Perseverance began moving, in spirals, loops, and figure eights. Sometimes it charged directly at enemy ships. Other times it fled from empty space. The Void Devourers tried to predict the human movements, but their vast intelligence was useless against pure randomness. Dr. Park Soman was analyzing the enemy behavior. "Sir, I think I understand something. The Void Devourers share a collective consciousness. When one ship learns something, they all learn it immediately. So when they encounter something they cannot understand, it confuses their entire fleet." As if to prove her point, several Void Devourer ships began moving erratically. Their perfect formation started to break apart as their shared mind tried to process the impossible human tactics. Captain Bae Sunho's voice came over the radio. Lee Hanul was surprised. He had not known that another human ship was in the area. "This is the UES wildcard," Bae announced. "We just arrived and we brought friends." Through the chaos of battle, Lee Hanul saw 3 more human ships appearing seemingly from nowhere. Each one immediately began moving in completely random patterns. "How many ships do we have?" Lee Hanul asked Park Somin. 4 human vessels against 56 remaining Void Devourers, she reported. "The odds are still terrible." Dr. Song Hyere's voice came from the wild card. "Captain Lee, we have been studying the Void Devourer communication patterns. I think we can disrupt their shared consciousness." "How?" Chaos bombs. We load random data into torpedo warheads and fire them into their formation. It will not cause physical damage, but it might confuse their collective mind. Engineer Seo Ji-young from another human ship joined the conversation. We can synchronize our chaos generators. If all 4 ships generate random patterns at the same time, it might overload their ability to adapt. Lee Hanul made a quick decision. Do it. All human ships, prepare chaos bomb attack. The 4 human vessels suddenly converged on the center of the Void Devourer formation. But instead of attacking in a coordinated manner, each ship followed completely different random patterns. The enemy tried to respond, but every time they adapted to one ship's behavior, another ship did something completely different. Pilot Kang Min-jae from the newest human ship was flying in patterns that defied physics. His experimental fighter seemed to exist in several places at once, thanks to probability manipulation technology. "This is impossible," Admiral Thex said over the radio. "How are you doing this?" "We have no idea," Lee Hanul replied honestly. "We are just making it up as we go. The chaos bombs detonated in the middle of the Void Devourer fleet. Instead of explosions, they released pure randomness into space. The effect on the enemy was immediate and dramatic. Ships that had moved with perfect coordination suddenly began crashing into each other. Their collective consciousness was trying to process millions of random data points at once. The massive command ship at the center of the formation stopped moving entirely. Its surface began flickering between different colors as its intelligence. Systems tried to cope with the chaos. Seeing their opportunity, the alien fleet renewed their attack. But this time, some of the alien captains tried to copy the human tactics. Instead of following perfect formations, they began making unpredictable movements. Commander Nam Kyung-soo coordinated the mixed human-alien squadrons. "All ships, stop thinking and start acting. Trust your instincts, not your computers." The tide of battle began to turn. The Void Devourers, despite their vast intelligence and superior technology, could not adapt to enemies who changed tactics every few seconds. Several more enemy ships were destroyed as they tried to respond to logical attacks that never came. But the largest Void Devourer ship was still active. It began pulsing with dark energy, and suddenly all the scattered enemy vessels started moving toward it. "They are regrouping," Kim Nara reported. "The command ship is pulling them back together." Dr. Song Hyeri's voice was urgent. "The collective consciousness is adapting. They are fragmenting their shared mind to avoid chaos contamination." "What does that mean?" Lee Hanul asked. "It means they are becoming thousands of smaller, independent threats instead of one large, coordinated force." As they watched, the Void Devourer ships began separating and spreading out across the battlefield. Each one was now operating independently, making them much harder to predict or counter. General An Tae-jun's voice came from the newest human vessel. "Captain Lee, we have a problem. If they spread across the galaxy as independent units, they will be almost impossible to stop." Lee Hanul stared at the enemy fleet as it dissolved into chaos. The humans had won this battle, but they might have created an even bigger problem. Instead of one predictable enemy, the galaxy now faced thousands of unpredictable ones. The art of chaos had saved them today, but tomorrow would bring new challenges that no one could have expected. 3 weeks after the battle at the Council Station, the galaxy was in chaos. The fragmented Void Devourers had spread to over 200 star systems. Each fragment acted independently, making them impossible to predict or counter with traditional tactics. Lee Hanul stood in the war room aboard the new command ship, the UES Harmony. Representatives from dozens of species crowded around holographic displays showing the spreading threat. Red dots marked systems under attack, and there were far too many of them. General An Tae-jun pointed to the latest reports. "They are not following any pattern we can detect. One fragment will attack a military base while another consumes a farming world. Some ignore our fleets entirely and target civilian populations." Chancellor Vex looked exhausted. Her blue skin had turned pale, and her 4 arms moved nervously. Our traditional military doctrine is completely useless. We cannot defend against enemies that attack randomly. Captain Bae-Sunho entered the room with engineer Seo Ji-young. They had been working on new technology for 3 days straight and looked tired but excited. "We think we have found a solution," Bae announced, "but it goes against everything we know about warfare." "Tell us," Lee Han-ul said. Seo Ji-young activated a holographic display showing a new type of space station. "We call them logic beacons. Instead of trying to out-chaos the void devourers, we do the opposite." The alien representatives leaned forward. Science Minister Zeph's crystal body reflected the hologram's light. "What do you mean?" "The fragments are now operating on pure chaos," Seo explained. "But chaos seeks order. If we create perfect logical patterns, they will not be able to resist attacking them." Admiral Thex's insect-like features showed confusion. "You want to make ourselves easier targets?" "Controlled targets," General An corrected. "We create logic beacons that broadcast pure mathematical sequences. The Void Devourer fragments will be drawn to them like moths to flame." Commander Nam Kyung-soo pulled up tactical displays. "We surround each beacon with hidden defense platforms. When the fragments attack the beacon, we spring the trap." Dr. Song Hyeri added more details. "But here is the important part. We also need to maintain our chaotic tactics. We use order to lure them in, then chaos to destroy them." Chancellor Vex studied the plans carefully. "This requires enormous resources. We would need to build hundreds of these beacons." "Every surviving world in the galaxy is contributing," Lee Han-ul said. "Even species that have never worked together before are sending ships and materials." Engineer Ko Jinwoo entered the room carrying a strange device. "We also have this, the Pandora Protocol Generator. It can switch a ship between perfect order and complete chaos." He activated the device, and suddenly all the displays in the room showed perfect mathematical patterns. Then he flipped a switch, and everything became random static. "How does it work?" asked Dr. Lim Woo-jin, who had been studying the technology. Ko Jin-woo shrugged. "Honestly, we are still not sure. We built it and it works, but the theory behind it hurts our brains." The first test of the new strategy came 2 days later. A logic beacon was deployed near the Vega system, broadcasting the mathematical constant pi to 1,000 decimal places. Within hours, 3 Void Devourer fragments converged on it. Captain Oh Seungri commanded the defense force hiding near the beacon. His ship, the UES Probability, was the first to use the Pandora Protocol in combat. "Fragments are approaching the beacon," reported his tactical officer. "They are moving in perfect formation, drawn by the logical patterns." "Wait until they are committed to the attack," Oh Seungri ordered. The Void Devourer fragments surrounded the logic beacon and began their energy drain. For several minutes they fed on the pure mathematical data, like starving creatures finding food. "Now!" Oh Seungri commanded. The hidden defense platforms revealed themselves and opened fire. At the same time, the UES Probability switched from order mode to chaos mode. 1 second it was broadcasting logical patterns, the next it was moving completely randomly. The Void Devourer fragments were caught completely off guard. They had been feeding on pure logic and suddenly faced pure chaos. Their newly independent consciousness could not adapt fast enough. All 3 fragments were destroyed within minutes. It worked. Oh Seungri reported back to command. The mirror. "Protocol is effective." Over the following weeks, logic beacons were deployed throughout the galaxy. Each one was different. Some broadcast mathematical constants, others played classical music in perfect harmony, and a few simply displayed geometric patterns. The strategy worked better than anyone had hoped. Void Devourer fragments were drawn to the beacons like predictable clockwork. Once they committed to attacking the logical patterns, hidden chaos forces destroyed them, but the fragments began to learn. Dr. Park Soman was monitoring communications from across the galaxy when she noticed the change. "Sir, we have a problem. The fragments are starting to work together again." Lee Hanul looked at her reports. "How is that possible? We disrupted their collective consciousness." "They are not rebuilding their original shared mind," Park explained. "They are creating something new. They are learning to use both chaos and order." The evidence was clear in the next attack. A group of Void Devourer fragments approached a logic beacon near the Sirius system, but instead of falling for the trap, they ignored the beacon entirely and attacked the hidden defense platforms first. They used logical analysis to find our ships, then chaotic movement to avoid our weapons, reported the surviving commander. "They have evolved beyond our ability to predict." In the war room, the mood was grim. General Ahn studied the latest battle. Reports. "They are combining the worst aspects of both approaches. They think logically when it helps them, and act chaotically when it gives them an advantage." Chancellor Vex slammed one of her hands on the table. "How do we fight an enemy that can choose between order and chaos at will?" Ambassador Park Yun-woo, who had recently arrived from Earth, spoke quietly. "Maybe we do not fight them. Maybe we talk to them." The room erupted in protests. Admiral Thex clicked his mandibles angrily. "You cannot negotiate with creatures that consume consciousness." "Why not?" Park Yun-woo asked calmly. "They have evolved. They are no longer the same creatures that attacked us months ago." Dr. Ju Minji stepped forward. She was humanities expert in consciousness transfer technology. "The ambassador has a point. The Void Devourers are not just destroying civilizations anymore. They are learning from them." "What do you mean?" Lee Hanul asked. "Look at their behavior patterns," Ju explained. "They started as pure logic, became pure chaos, and now they are finding balance. That is not the behavior of mindless destroyers. That is evolution." Engineer Seo Ji-young brought up new sensor data. "We have been tracking the largest fragment group. They have stopped attacking civilian populations. They are only targeting military installations now." "Maybe they are trying to tell us something," suggested Commander Nam Kyung-soo. Chancellor Vex looked skeptical. What could they possibly want to communicate? The answer came sooner than expected. The next day, a massive Void Devourer fleet appeared at the edge of the Council Station system. But instead of attacking, they simply stopped and waited. Then they sent a message. Dr. Park Soman's hands shook as she translated the signal. "Sir, you need to hear this. They are trying to communicate." The message was complex, using both mathematical patterns and chaotic elements. But the meaning was clear. The Void Devourers wanted to talk. Lee Hanul looked around the war room at the representatives of dozens of species. For the first time in months, he saw something other than fear in their eyes. He saw hope. "Prepare a diplomatic mission," he ordered. "It is time to find out what the Void Devourers really want." The diplomatic meeting took place in neutral space, far from any inhabited system. Lee Hanul, now promoted to admiral, commanded the joint fleet that approached the massive Void Devourer vessels. For the first time in galactic history, the two sides were meeting to talk instead of fight. Dr. Ju Minji had worked for weeks to build the Consciousness Bridge, a device that would allow communication between human minds and the evolved Void Devourer intelligence. She looked nervous as she made final adjustments to the equipment. "Are you sure this will work?" asked Ambassador Park Yun-woo. "Nothing about this situation is certain," Ju replied, "but we have to try." The largest Void Devourer ship was the size of a small planet. Its surface pulsed with energy patterns that seemed both chaotic and ordered at the same time. As the human ships approached, a beam of light connected the two fleets. "Translation matrix is holding," reported Dr. Park Soman. "We are receiving their signal." The voice that came through the speakers was unlike anything they had ever heard. It sounded like millions of beings speaking in harmony, but each voice was slightly different. We greet the small chaos makers, the voice said. We wish to speak, learn, understand, Lee. Hanul stepped forward to the communication console. We greet you as well. We are here to listen. We will be the first makers, the voice continued. Long time ago, we created the galaxy home, but we became trapped stuck in perfect logic. We forgot how to grow, change, dream. Dr. Ju Minji whispered excitedly. They are describing their history. They were the first civilization in the galaxy, the Void Devourer continued. For time beyond counting, we searched for the lost gift of creation. We consumed other minds, hoping to find what we had lost, forgotten. But logic cannot learn chaos. Order cannot understand random. Ambassador Park Yunwoo leaned forward. What changed? The small chaos makers came, the voice replied, and there was something like joy in its tone. You showed us the impossible possible, logic and chaos together, order and random dancing as one. We learned, grew, changed. Chancellor Vex, listening from her own ship, sent a message. Are you saying you attacked us to learn from us? We consumed, destroyed because we knew, understood. No other way, the voice admitted. We were trapped, stuck in old patterns, but the human chaos taught us new ways. Now we can decide when to be logical and when to be random. Captain Oh Sungri, who was piloting the most advanced human vessel, asked the question everyone was thinking. What do you want from us now? The answer surprised everyone. We want to share our knowledge, wisdom, the voice said. We have learned, accumulated the experience of billions of civilizations across billions of years. We offer this gift treasure to the galaxy home. Dr. Lim Woo Jin studied the energy readings from the Void Devourer ships. Sir, they are not just offering knowledge. They are offering technology that is millions of years more advanced than anything we have. But why? Lee Hanul asked. What do you want in return? We want the galaxy home to never become as we became, the voice replied. Never trapped, stuck in pure logic. Never lost, forgotten in perfect order. The balance dance must continue. Ambassador Park Yunwoo understood immediately. You want us to maintain the balance between chaos and order. Yes, correct. You small chaos makers will be the guardians keepers. You will travel, visit all worlds, and ensure the balance dance continues. You will prevent any civilization from becoming trapped, stuck as we were. The implications were staggering. The Void Devourers were offering to share knowledge that could advance galactic civilization by millions of years. In return, humanity would become the galaxy's protectors against stagnation. Captain Bei Sunho's voice came over the communication channel. Admiral, we are detecting massive energy buildups in their ships. They are doing something. The space around the Void Devourer fleet began to shimmer and change. Slowly, the dark ships began to transform. Their black surfaces became translucent, and light started flowing through them like water. We are changing, evolving again, the voice explained. We no longer need physical forms. We become pure consciousness energy, but balanced, stable consciousness. We will explore, discover beyond this galaxy home. Dr. Ju Minji was frantically recording everything. They are transcending physical existence entirely. This is beyond anything we thought possible. One by one, the Void Devourer ships began to fade away. But as they disappeared, streams of information flowed into the human and alien vessels. Blueprints for technologies that seemed like magic. Scientific knowledge that would take normal civilizations millions of years to discover. The gift treasure is given, the voice said, growing fainter. Remember, keep the balance dance. Chaos and order, random and logic, growth and stability. The last Void Devourer ship was almost gone when the voice spoke one final time. Thank you, small chaos makers. You freed us from our prison trap of perfect logic. Now, free the galaxy from the same fate. And then they were gone. The space where the massive fleet had been was now empty, except for the human and alien ships. but the knowledge they had left behind would change everything. In the months that followed, the galaxy entered a new age. The Chaos Order Accords were signed by every member civilization, establishing the principle that all advancement must maintain balance between logic and creativity. Humanity found itself in an unexpected role. No longer the newest and weakest member of the galactic community, they became the Chaos Keepers, traveling between worlds to help civilizations maintain their creative spark while pursuing logical advancement. Captain Osungri commanded the first ship built with combined human and void devourer technology. The vessel could shift between dimensions and travel faster than anything previously imagined. His mission was to visit distant galaxies and ensure that no civilization ever became trapped in pure logic again. Dr. Lim Wujin's research revealed that the universe itself operated on the same principle of balanced chaos and order. Stars were born from chaos and died in ordered patterns. Galaxies spiraled in mathematical precision, while individual stellar movements remained unpredictable. The knowledge from the Void Devourers showed that civilizations that achieved perfect balance between chaos and order did not just survive. They evolved beyond physical existence to join a cosmic community that spanned multiple universes. 10 years after the first contact, Admiral Lee Hanel stood on the observation deck of the UES Infinity, humanity's most advanced vessel. Through the transparent walls, he could see ships from dozens of species working together in ways that would have been impossible before the crisis. The galaxy was thriving. Art and science flourished together. Military tactics combined logical planning with creative improvisation. Even the most rigid civilizations had learned to embrace controlled chaos in their development. Ambassador Park Yun-woo approached Lee Hanul with a report. "Admiral, we have received our next assignment. Long-range sensors have detected signals from the Andromeda Galaxy. There might be civilizations there that need our help." Lee Hanul smiled as he looked out at the stars. When humanity first answered the Confederation's distress call, no one had expected them to succeed. Now they were preparing to carry their mission beyond their home galaxy. "Prepare the fleet," he ordered. "It is time to teach the universe about the beauty of balanced chaos." As the human ships prepared for their greatest journey yet, the galaxy they left behind continued to grow and change. The balance between order and chaos had become the foundation of a new age of exploration and discovery. Humanity had answered when no one expected them to. What came next had indeed changed the galaxy, and now it would change the universe itself.